also want to thank Papilion High School and their staff, specifically John Hubert, who is the assistant principal, for opening their doors and making us feel so welcome. They've done this for us on a few other events and have helped us inside and outside the school with events, whether it's SAC Museum, honor flights, or here. So we really want to thank them, John Hubert and his staff, and also Kevin Vogelwitz, who is a former student helping tonight. So thank you. You're here tonight free of charge, thanks to a wonderful, patriotic donor. They're a company that realizes just how important it is for us to hear from men and women of such character as our guest tonight, Staff Sergeant Henline. U.S. Assets is tonight's sponsor, and they are represented by John Adair. John, would you please stand so we can thank you?
I'd also like to mention that Dan Sullivan from the Omaha World Herald has a table right here in the back, and he is offering for sale the wonderful World Herald book, At War, At Home, about World War II and the veterans from Nebraska and Western Iowa. It's a wonderful book. Those of you who have it know of what I speak. And so I hope you will consider picking up a copy from Dan. Also, At Ease is here, which is part of Lutheran Family Services, and they are doing a wonderful job helping veterans with PTSD. Welcome to both of them.
Okay, just a little bit of housekeeping. You probably noticed there are some index cards on your chair or underneath it. What we're asking you to do, if you want to be a part of more events like this tonight, is to put your name and address, or just your name, first name, last name, and your email address on that card, and we're going to pick those up later during the Goodwill offering. If you have a business card you just as soon toss in, that's fine too. But we want to be able to notify you of more events like this. We aren't going to sell it, our list. We're not going to trade it with anybody. We're going to guard it like it's gold, but we just want the opportunity to let you know what's coming up. And now Bill's going to tell you why you'll want to know.
We have several exciting events coming up. The tentative plan at this point is Sunday, July 1st, a Band of Brothers reunion. Those of you who are part of the 1,500 who came out to the museum when Yvonne was the interim director, and we brought in 6 of the Band of Brothers, remember what a wonderful event that was. So at this point we have 3 who are planning to be here on stage. We're going to Skype Wild Bill Garnier and Babe Heffron from their couch in South Philly. So, as you can understand, the situation is fluid given their age and health. So that's why it's so important that we have your email address so we can correspond with you and let you know the latest developments as we put this together for Sunday, July 1st. Now, on the 23rd of July, that's a Monday night, we have Colonel Bud Day. Colonel Bud Day is the highest decorated service person since MacArthur. World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Medal of Honor recipient, 5.5 years, Hanoi Hilton, a few of those years with John McCain. This is a true American hero, but once again, he's 87 years old. And as Bud told me, he said, you know, I'm so fortunate to still be alive after all he's been through. If you've ever read his book, it's unbelievable, the torture that he was able to take. So I hope everyone will mark that date, that Monday night, and come out and see Colonel Bud Day. Now, for 2013, we're going to have 4 speakers, 1 each quarter. Now, 2 have already committed. The first one is Captain Dale Dye, United States Marine Corps, who was in Platoon, Saving Private Ryan, and played Colonel Sink in the Band of Brothers series. But most people know Dale Dye as the guy hired by Hanks and Spielberg to train the actors to be soldiers. We've been trying for 2 years to get him to commit, and he did a few days ago. He'll be appearing here the second quarter of 13. The other one we have confirmed is Sheriff Joe Arpaio of Arizona. Many people consider him the toughest sheriff in the country. Most know who he is. He forces his prisoners, whether you approve or not, but he forces them to wear pink underwear. So I think, I have a strong feeling that's going to be a full house too. Now, I encourage you, on the card that you put in the bucket that goes around when we do a collection for Bobby's favorite charity, if you have any ideas on who you would like to have us bring in, please scratch those ideas down on your card, and we'll certainly take a look at it. April 7th, 2007, Bobby Henline was in a Humvee in Iraq. Front seat, passenger side. They hit a massive IED. The 4 on board with Bobby were killed. Specialist Levi Hoover, Private First Class Rodney McCandless, Captain Jonathan Grasbaugh, and Specialist Ebby Emelo. I know we have a few Gold Star family members in the audience here tonight. Would everybody please join me in a moment of silence for all the fallen from Iraq and Afghanistan? Thank you. On behalf of Patriotic Productions and my buddy John A. Dare, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to present Bobby Henline.
You should see the other guy. How's everybody doing? All right. Can you see me okay? There we go. Nebraska, thanks for having me out here. I learned you are some crazy people. Very tough, very brave. I mean, a lot of people say that I'm tough, what I've been through. I'm a little crazy from what I've been through. But when I got here yesterday, I was wearing burnt orange. And you people were still crazy enough to come up to me, about 20 of you, throughout the day. You know we don't wear that color around here. And the problem is, in Texas, if we wear red, we have to run from the bulls all day. But I apologize. I don't want to get beat up after this. Jumped outside. There, now your shirt's red full of lights. But I was watching news and I realized, you know, you got some crazy people. Besides being tough, who's the guy with the DUI and the zebra and the parrot? My guess is he's from Wahoo! I saw that in the news last night. They're doing a weather report. Wahoo! And that's all I can picture is a bunch of guys in trucks with mullets running around. Woo! That'd be great if I was from Wahoo. Anybody here from Wahoo? Good. I would be doing that. I would love it. Imagine basic training. Come here, Private. Where are you from? Wahoo! Wahoo! Great. Said I told him from the Bay Area. Oh, San Francisco? No, I had to go through that whole thing. There's one there. There's that, not the second one didn't count. I was saying there was one. We got a judge here. going to count that word. The other day, I had my son moving in with me, and I had to move my office around and move some stuff and make some room for her. And I found this book, and it was just amazing. It was one of those aha moments. It gave me the chills. When I found this, I didn't even know I had it. It's The Right to Movement. It's a collection of quotations for living an inspired life. I didn't know I had the book, and I pulled it out, and at the first page I read, this is what it said. It said, your mind, your spirit, and your open heart are the essence of what the world needs. You are the one who will stitch together the quilt of the nation, bending the tears and frayed edges brought by war and terror. You are the one who will add your quilt squares with the gifts that flow through you to help others. You will use the knowledge that you have learned, the deep friendships, the caring mentoring of others, the wisdom of inquiry, and you will transform the world. It hit me hard. Like, wow, they give me chills. Like, that's what I feel I'm meant to kind of do and share my story and help others. And I thought that was kind of selfish of me. It's not just me. This is for all of us. All of us have been affected by war and terror one way or another. This is about you, and you. We all can make a difference in this world. One person can do so much. Roosevelt said, do what you can with what you have where you are. Such a simple rule in life that we can all use in many different ways. In your personal life, in business. There's so many ways to help others, to give, and there's so many little ways and different things that you can do to make a difference by applying those rules for yourself and others around you. I just thought that was really great, what he said, what Roosevelt said in that book, and it all just came together and just made so much sense to me. I wanted to share that with you guys. Because when you hear my story tonight, that's what I like to do. I like to think of my story like a song. You listen to music. The person who wrote it meant one thing. You may hear it, but you're going to take something from it that relates to you. And you're going to take something different from that song that relates to you. We all, and that's what we love about music, besides the good beat. When you can't understand the lyrics of a good song, you take that and you own that song in your own way. And when I share my story tonight, if there's anything you relate to that you can take from that for you, that's what it's about. About sharing my stories. Like, everybody should share their stories to the person next to you. When you're sitting on the bus, you're in the elevator, we need to talk to each other. And you share that story, because you just never know who you're standing next to. I mean, if you saw that guy with all the medals of honors from all these wars, you had no idea. Oh, what's wrong with this old man? He's taking up his time in line. That's what you probably think. We get in a rush these days. So you just got to take your time. You never know who it is. Now myself, I grew up a Navy brat in California. At 17, I wasn't doing anything. I was doing something. I was a cool roller skating DJ. I drove a Mustang and I wore a mullet. So I was doing something. But my uncle, who was 4 years older than me, maybe 6, I don't know, he's like a big brother to me. He wasn't doing anything either. He came to me and he said, we need to do something in our lives. Let's go in the Army together. So all right, let's do it. Let's do it. We went and took the test. He failed the test. I went ahead, still went in. Then about 19. Does count to was that okay? Oh, good. At 19, I went to Desert Storm. At 19 for about a month when I went to Desert Storm. Ended over there. I had a great time. If you've seen the movie Jarhead, just like that. Really boring in Desert Storm. We got really good at volleyball. I thought about changing my career. Playing Top Gun. Playing the ball. Oh, Tom Cruise. No one wanted to be Goose. You know what happened to that one. When I first went in the Army, my mother wouldn't let me go airborne. I wanted to jump out of planes, because all my family was Navy. And I had one uncle that went airborne, and he was 18, his chute ended up tangling up at Fort Bragg, and he jumped, and he ended up drowning. So my mother had these superstitions. She didn't want me to go airborne at 18 and all that stuff. So I made a deal with her. If she quit smoking, I wouldn't go airborne. My mother's still trying to quit smoking. But I went airborne this time. She couldn't stop me. But after I got out of Desert Storm, I didn't warn you guys that I speak ADD, did I? See, that's what happens. I do speak ADD. It's kind of like drawing a star. You know, you start here, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. Eventually you think, oh, I get it, it's a star. That's kind of how I talk. Well, see, where was I at the start? Here, here, or here? I was going here. That's right. I got out of Desert Storm. I got out of the Army. And I didn't want anything to do. I was done. I did my time. I was proud of what I did. But it's time to move on to the next part of life, next chapter. At that time, that's when I met my wife. My daughter Brittany was a year and a half when I met her. We now have 4 kids, hers and ours, typical military family. We had a great life living in California. Things were going great. I always kept trying to go back in the Army, but she wouldn't let me. She wanted to marry to any type of uniform, police officer, military. She had an idea. She'd never been around, but she had an idea what the lifestyle was like, and she didn't want to really do that. So what happened is, about a month before 9/11, I finally talked her into it, because that September I was turning 30 years old. She thought I was going to be too old. So I started talking to a recruiter. He was working on some paperwork. That morning when 9/11 happened, first thing my wife said to me is, you can still change your mind now, right? You don't have to go in. But I knew on that day, I really had to go in. I knew from my service before as a young man in the military, I had a lot more to give for my country, for those young troops that are going out there. I can kind of help guide them to what they're about to enter and what they're about to experience. I still have the ability to do that. I'm going to do that. So I went back in. I went airborne. This is my crazy mother who wouldn't let me play football as a kid. One that signed me up for the Army at 17. I still called her every time I jumped, because I'm a big mama's boy. And I do now today, I still skydive, but when I skydive, I just text her. But what she doesn't know is I text her before the jump. She has no idea. And what happens if I didn't make it? She can't be mad at me. When I came back in, I had to start from scratch. I had to start from a private again and work my way up. I did 3 more tours in 03. After I went back to the basic training and everything, I went out there. And a lot of people ask me, they want to know what it's like for the military, the service member out there, the family back home. How do we deal with that stuff? When we see movies, we see the gunfights and stuff like that. But you don't want to portray what's really going on. That soldier is worried about home. How does he complete his mission? What I would do is I would write stuff down. All these questions, stuff was going on back home. In 2003, my youngest daughter was having a hard time. She didn't understand why I left her. She felt abandoned. She was having accidents, and she saw and they got it out. A child psychologist. And she was having a lot of issues, and that bothered me. But I couldn't do anything about it. And I couldn't sit there worrying about it, stressing out, because if I went on a mission and I'm worried about my daughter back home, I'm putting my life and everybody else's life in danger. So what I would do is just scribble it all down. And then eventually, somehow, a poem would come out. And I like to share that with you guys. I like to share my poems that I wrote out there, because it tells you exactly what was going through my head, the words from there, and not me trying to explain it exactly now. You'll hear the words from there. And so I really like to read that. And I know the guys are a little disappointed right now. Like, oh my God, we want to hear the war stories. This is like Twilight with the zombie versions. I titled it, Why? Why can't I be there? Is the question in her mind. How can I explain war to a 4-year-old?